Hey, what's up, y'all, man? It's Jonathan Owens here. Another episode of The Word Spoken. I'm glad you all tuned in. Whoever tuned in, praise be to God that you did tune in. And subscribe and like. I appreciate it for new subscribers. So, I thank God, and let's dive into this topic. So, this is the full video. If you can go back and look at my snippet, my clip that I did, that was the first sin that I talked about that we are committing. And it's a actual major one, because these things are like little foxes that spoil the whole vine. If you heard that parable before, because they appear to be small, but they are big in their consequences. So let's dive into the 5, like some of the top sins that we are committing unaware. We don't even know. We already talked about the first one on the video. I'll refresh your memory. If you haven't seen the clip, you can go back and watch it. The first one was rejoicing when your enemy falls. Now you be like, what do you mean? Like, if my enemy fell, I'm glad they fell. Ain't that my enemy? Nah. Just to touch over it really quickly. Proverbs 24:17-18. It talked about Solomon talked about and wrote and said that when your enemy has fallen, do not rejoice in their state of being fallen, because God will take away the wrath that He was going to give them. So now you'd be like, well, in what way did they fall if God is going to take away the wrath? You never know if God had more to give them, or you never know if they had failed and it appears that they have fallen to the public, but they haven't really fallen, and God was going to make them really fall. But now He saw that your heart was like, yeah, I'm glad. There was an enemy of mine. Maybe there was a coworker kept bothering you at work, and then you saw them get fired. God, He doesn't want you to be like, man, I'm glad they got fired. There was a nuisance. God can probably then turn around, give them a job somewhere else with a better pay. You be like, that makes sense. How is that? Because God's like, they were your enemy. They were your top nuisance at work. But because you rejoiced when they had failed, I took away the sting of that wrath. I took away that, because I don't want your heart to be on that type of stuff. Yeah, sounds crazy. Yeah, I know. Trust me, it ain't easy, but it's simple. So next sin, we're gonna roll through these. Next sin. Now, a big one. But I'm gonna preface my comments and say that I'm going to tell you the difference, so you won't be like, man, John, you just making up stuff. So, worrying, man. Now we think that just worrying is like, yeah, all of us do it. But we just think that, okay, I'm just worrying, I just got to stop worrying. No, God is like, that worrying is a sin if you're doing it. You're like, what? Yeah. Now there's a difference between concern and worry. I want to let you know that there's a difference between concern and worry. What do you mean? What's concern and worry? Concern is my child is past the street lights. We know, we grew up, they didn't come home and the street lights came on, and you already told them that. Now, as a parent, you are concerned for your child's well-being, because, man, that's my child. I want to make sure they're safe, right? That's legitimate concern. Now, worrying is if you have a problem with anything, bills, problems at work, or whatever case may be. Now that concern now turns to worrying, to what? To where now it's keeping you up all night. It's you can't think normally and functioning regular without actually worrying about the outcome, about that said action or said result or said conflict. So now you actually are consumed with that problem or problems, to where it's actually causing you to doubt whether or not you're going to make it through that, or how you're going to make it through it. You'd be like, oh, well, don't everybody face that? God is like, 3 times He tells us in Matthew 6, do not worry, do not worry, do not worry. Why? Well, whenever Jesus says do not do something and you do it, it's therefore a sin, right? Correct. So when he says do not worry, Jesus goes so far and says that whenever you start worrying, I'm looking at you. He said basically, I'm looking at you as like a Gentile. I'm looking at you like a Gentile, meaning an unbeliever. Now we're in this time of resurrection and this salvation. So God's like, he's like the unbelievers do that. They worry. They don't know where their meal's gonna come from. They don't know where they're gonna get clothes for their children. They don't know where all these things are gonna come from. And God's like, what is that worry doing? That worry makes it seems like that I'm not your God. So that's a shot at him. That's why he doesn't want you to worry, because it's a shot at him. Because now it's like, you don't think I can do it? The unbeliever is looking at the believer and being like, no, you worrying. Can't your God do it for you? And that's what God doesn't want, because God's like, I know I can do it for my child. I'm doing it for you. You ain't even giving me glory, unbeliever. I'm doing it for you, but you're not giving me glory. So I can definitely do it for my child. But the child of God who is worrying, they're giving off the result of an unbeliever, giving off the effects of a unbeliever. And God says, don't do that, because I got you. So it's a normal thing for all of us to do, but it's a sin. Man, I know that is tough, but all of us got to do it. Me, everybody. Let's jump to the third one. Now, it's about to get real now, y'all. So y'all stay with me. Whoo! Now, I mean, we probably heard this, but we all laugh it over and look it over. We don't really take it seriously. Gluttony. We don't take it serious. It is a sin. You're like, yeah, but I heard people talk about it, but I ain't never seen nobody actually try to like come at me with anything like that. Well, let's look at the word, because in Titus 1:12, Titus is telling the people that, man, there's some people going around right now teaching some false doctrine in y'all, and it's breaking up homes, it's messing up homes, it's destroying families. And he was like, one of the people that roll with these people who teaching false things, even their teachings are so bad, even he said that a man who is doing X, Y, and Z is like lustful, or like gluttony, lazy, all the different things, like those different attributes that he gave. And then Titus said, even though those things that those people are teaching are false, he's like, this doctrine that this man just said is true. This type of lifestyle is not a godly lifestyle. So you like, gluttony, what that means? That means like, it has like multiple connotations. It's like a lazy person, and it's also a person that's overindulging in something. And most of the time we know that's food. So even when we see the competitions of the hot dog eating contest, we glorify that and put it on the news station. We put it on all the networks, and we just glorify that. But that's a competition of gluttony. To convince yourself to keep eating hot dogs, even when you're already full. Like, come on now. So it's not like just pick at anything. It's just that we got to be better. These are 5 sins that we are doing and committing in society unaware, and they're just sins. And we never want to commit sin, because sins cracks your relationship with God. If you're a believer, it cracks your relationship with God. It never breaks it. You are saved if you have given your life truly over to the Lord. It can never break that, but it cracks it. What does a crack do? A crack can never be restored. A crack can never be restored, but how can it be restored? What I mean by that is that once that cup is cracked and you have sin, that sin, God doesn't just ignore that sin. That sin is there forever unless you ask for forgiveness, and God can put whiteout over that sin and put it in the sea of unforgetfulness and remember it no more. But if you, every time you do another sin, it cracks your relationship with God. So it breaks that intimate fellowship because God hates sin that much. But when you ask for forgiveness, he looks at the price that his son paid and then now looks at you through his son's eyes and now sees a forgiven person. So that's why we want to stay away from all these things, sins. So next one. Now this is a big one now. To speak about things that are done in secret. The Bible calls it, speak about those things that are done in the dark. You be like, ooh, what you mean? What you trying to say, Jonathan? What you saying that means? I think you probably know what I mean. So you see, you hear about you. Let's say if you notice different things, or if you heard different things, and it hasn't come out to be true yet, but Bobby is sleeping with John's wife. Paul is telling you it's shameful to even speak about those things. Those things that are done in secret, it's shameful to even speak about those things. Now, when does it become a sin? It becomes a sin now when you tell that thing to someone else. Because the moment you do that, now you're gossiping. It's already shameful to even speak about those things. But the moment you tell it to somebody else, thinking that, man, I think it's a good chance that Bobby is sleeping with that man's wife, man. God is like, it's a sin to gossip, and it's first it's shameful, then it's a sin to tell that. Now, if an actual story breaks in real life that becomes public news that the society knows about, then it's no longer those things creeping around gossiping. It's public knowledge. But I'm talking about the things that are done in secret. Guys, like, don't worry about those things, because what's done in the dark will come to light. Light will expose those things. Tony Evans got that good analogy. He's like, you know that the roaches are there when you turn off the lights. You know the roaches there. You don't have to speak about the roaches. You know they're there. But the moment you turn on that light, it exposes the roaches, and now they scatter. Why? Because darkness, the light shine, and the darkness comprehended it not. Darkness cannot comprehend light. So when light comes on, darkness has to fade, and whatever is in that darkness fades with it. So the roaches scatter with that because that darkness is no longer there. So that means when darkness is gone, that filth of the roaches is gone because light came in. So that was number 4, sin that we're like a popular sin that we're unaware, but we're doing it all the time. So 5th sin, good one too, man, just bad jokes, just a joke that was over the top, crude joking. Everybody. And sometimes you gotta ask God for forgiveness if you laughed at one. It is what it is, because it is what it is sin. So look what the Bible talks about. We got the foundations in Ephesians 5:3-4 that talks about, like, that's the word it said that's a sin to have, like, crude joking and like playing around and joking that's in a crude manner. But how does that look like? What do you mean by that, really? Proverbs 26:18-19 gives a little bit more insight about that. It's like a person who takes fire arrows and shoots them are like the one who deceives their neighbor and says, I was only joking. Think about that. The Bible is giving you like stuff that relates to us today. So compare that to today. A person who is at a party waving his gun around, and they all having a party and start shooting and shooting, like just shooting in the atmosphere. And that person, the Bible is comparing that person to a person who is deceiving his neighbor and saying, I was only joking. So you'll tell, hey, I was only kidding. I was only playing around, y'all. I'm just lit up. Everybody gonna look at you crazy. There was no joke about that, dude. That was serious. Don't say I was only joking, just playing around. I mean, I'm giving a harsh analogy, but I'm saying there could be other ways that somebody's doing something that actually is serious, and you didn't see the consequence or the outcome of those serious actions, and then you're gonna turn around and say I was only joking. You're deceiving your neighbor, Proverbs said, because dude, they weren't thinking about a joke at that time. So you just meaning your being and talking with them, conversing with them is deceiving them. Because dude, where's the joke? They wasn't thinking about joke. They weren't thinking about joking. So that's what the Bible is saying. It's like, you said I was only joking. It's like, nah, dude, that was crude, and that's a sin. But we do it often, and all of us have to let it go, man. But these are 5 popular sins that we are unaware of, that we don't even know we're doing all the time. And by the grace of God, all of us, I pray that we alleviate them and cut them off cold turkey. But like I said, it ain't gonna be easy, but it's simple. We can only stop those sins if the Lord helps us. Now, some people might say that I can't stop. Like, it's hard to like, give up those things when you've been trained that way for your like forever. Like, you just been like, and so I guess the better term wouldn't be cold turkey. It would be hot turkey that's cooling down. Because the if you just weed off of it by the grace of God, you can get there to that cold turkey. But like I said, it won't be easy, but it is simple. So, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode today of The Word Spoken, man. I am Jonathan Owens. And please, again, do me a favor. Subscribe and like if it blessed you. Man, I will catch y'all next time. And, man, comment. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'll see you.